Okay, so now I'm going to just do a quick overview of how to set up your gradebook in Schoology. So what I'm going to do is go in my course that I want to edit. So here I am in Design Technology. I'm going to go to the Gradebook option, and I'm going to go to Grade Setup. Here, the first thing I'm going to do is add some categories. By default, or actually, I think by default there are no categories at all, and I've created this one before. I'm going to delete that. Oh, I can't because it's already assigned to an assignment. Anyway, this is where you can create categories, and categories are decided upon by your department, so you need to check with them for the approved lists of categories. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say add, and then I'm going to create one called, so I've got one already called assignments. Maybe I'll create one called discussions. And I'm going to say create. So now you can see I have two different categories, one called assignments, one called discussions. And categories can be weighted or not. And again, this is up to what you decide to do within your department. So check with your IL. But I can say weight categories. And then you can see right now both are being given a weight of 100. And what that means when you have them both weighted the same amount is that's a 50-50 split. But what I could do is say, okay, maybe discussions are going to be worth 20. And let's make this worth 80. And then you can see 80% of my mark will come from assignments and 80 from discussions, and I could go ahead and add another one, and I'll call this tests, and I'll say create again, and again I can go under weight, and let's say 70, 10, 20, I don't know, something like that. Again, check with your department. I'm going to go down here and save my changes though, so that they're all reflected there and saved. What I can do also, there's a little star here. If most of the types of assignments that you're creating within Schoology are a certain type, like assignments, for example, that star, all that does is by default chooses that category when you create a new assignment, for example. So I could make that the default. It's important that you check under grading periods that it's this school year. This for me is a semestered course. So mine says 2015-16 semester 1. You should only ever have one grading period under here and never two. Even if you have a full year course, we've created a grading period called full year. So choose that one. Don't choose semester 1 and semester 2. It also can display your grades, your final grades, as using any of these grading scales on the side. So you can see a numeric. This one, never use this, A plus minus. That's one that's a category created by Schoology that does not reflect the letter grade scale that we use in Ontario, so don't use that one. There are DP levels, there are ministry letters, that's the ABC scale that we use here in Ontario. There are, I have there's ministry levels rather, so that's the 1 through 4, and then we've got the MYP levels. For me, I'm teaching an MYP grade 6 course here, and so for me, I'm going to use that as the default grading scale, so I'm going to put a star there, and I'm going to have my scale here also MYP levels. So the grade that the students see as their grade as they're moving forward is always reflected by a number from 1 to 8 and never a percent. I find kids get far less spazzy about their grades when I keep it high level like that. The other thing you'll want to do is round the final grade up or down. You know, if you are using percentages, what that avoids is having like 87 or 87.6 or something like that. It keeps it a round percentage. And then I'm going to push Save Changes. Okay, and that's it. In my next video, I'll talk about creating assignments and adding them to categories.